let's consider standard form of a number. Standard form involves moving a decimal to the left for smaller values or moving the decimal to the right for bigger numbers. Let's write this number in standard form. Step number 1. Target the first significant number, and here it is 1. Step number 2. Consider the position of the decimal. The next step, step number 3. Move the decimal to the front of the first significant number. That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And we're going to have 1.2. Next, count how many steps made by the decimal, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, to generate this 1.2. I will multiply 1.2 with 10. Next, I will consider how many steps the decimal made to move to this position, which is 6. However, this value is a very small value. Hence, this 6 will become -6. Small numbers will always take negative at the power, and this is our answer. Next, consider this number, and we're going to write this in standard form. This is a very large number, and the decimal is at the back. We can include a trailing 0 here without affecting this large number. Step number 1. Target the first significant number. Here it is 8. Step number 2. Consider the position of the decimal, which is this point. Step number 3. Move the decimal to the front of the first significant number. That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Here we have 7 steps in the movement, and we're going to have 8.19. Next, we're going to multiply this by 10. Next, we're going to write the number of steps at the power of 10. Here it is 7. And because this is a large number, this 7 will remain positive, and this is our answer. Next, write this standard form to ordinary number. Step number 1. Consider the first significant number. Here it is 5. Next, consider the power at the power of 10. Here it is 3, and the 3 is also positive, symbolizing there are 3 zeros at the back of the 5, and this is our answer. Next, let's consider this question, and we're going to write this to ordinary number. Here we have a decimal after the 2. Next, 4 is at the power of 10, which is positive. This is simply saying that after these 2, that there are 4 digits, and we can clearly see 0 and 5. To make it 4, we're going to need 2 more zeros. The decimal is now gone, and this is our answer. Remember, this 4 is positive, which symbolizes a very large number. Next, we're going to write this standard form to ordinary number. Step number 1. Consider the first significant number here, which is 2. Next, consider the power. Here we have -4, symbolizing there are 4 digits in the front of these 2. These 4 digits will not affect 05. The 4 digits will be nothing but zeros. Next, we're going to put a decimal in front of the last digit, and this is our answer, which is a small number because of this -4. Next, consider this standard form, which we are going to write to ordinary number. Step number 1. Consider the first significant number here, which is 5. Step number 2. Consider the power, which is -3. The negative symbolizes that there are 3 digits in front of this 5. The digits must be zeros. Next, in front of the last digit, we are going to input a decimal, and this is our answer. You can pause the video to practice ordinary number to standard form and standard form to ordinary number. In this exercise, write each of the following to standard form. Also, complete the following exercises. Next, let's consider each of these questions. Here, we're going to multiply these 2 standard forms. The numbers will multiply. Next, and the tens will equally multiply. Next, 3 times 2, and we're going to have 6. Next, the tens, we're going to apply law of indices because this 10 and this 10 are the same. For example, 2 to the power of 5 multiply 2 to the power of 3. Because these 2 are the same, I will write 2, and I'm going to add their powers, and here I will have 2 to the power of 8. This is law of indices, and I'm going to apply this to 10 to the power of 7 multiply 10 to the power of 2. Simplifying this further, this is our answer. Next, let's consider this multiplication of standard form. Step number 1, 3 will multiply 8. Next, the tens will now multiply. Next, 3 times 8 will give you 24. Next, I will apply law of indices here, which is 6 minus 4 at the power. Next, 24 is greater than 10, and this is not allowed in standard form. Because of this, I'm going to introduce a decimal to become 2.4, and I'm going to increase this 2 to become 3, and this becomes our answer. Whenever you move a decimal to the left, you will increase the power. Always remember this. Next, consider this multiplication of standard form. Step number 1, multiply the numbers. Next, step number 2, multiply the tens. Next, 7 times 20, and you're going to have 140. Next, we're going to apply law of indices here. Next, you're going to add this power. Next, 140 is greater than 10. Next, I will move the decimal from the back of 0, 1, 2, and I will have 1.40. These two movements will increase 100 to 102. And this is our answer. If you try to solve this with an ordinary calculator, you will simply get an error. The reason for this is that most basic calculators cannot handle anything that is beyond 10 to the power of 99. Hence, be careful when using your calculator to solve this problem. Next, division of standard form. Let's consider each of these questions. In this question, 4 we divide 2. Next, this we divide this, and this we divide this. Next, 4 divided by 2, and your answer is 2. Next, I will apply law of indices to this part of the problem. According to the law of indices, if 10 to the power of 13 goes up, this 13 will acquire a negative. For example, 2 to the power of 5 divide 2 to the power of 3. This 2 to the power of 3 will go up and it will acquire a negative. And our answer is 2 to the power of 2, which is 4. We're going to apply this basic law of indices to this problem. Next, I will apply law of indices to this. And our answer is 2 times 10 to the power of minus 6. Next, let's solve this problem. Next, 4.8 we divide 1.2, and your answer is 4. Next, 10 to the power of 15 we divide 10 to the power of 8. Next, you apply law of indices. Here you apply law of indices, and 15 minus 8 is 7. And this is our answer. Next, let's consider this division. In the first step, 1 we divide 2, and you will get 0.5. Next, we're going to apply law of indices. From law of indices, we're going to have this, and we're going to have 10 to the power of 2. Next, 0.5 is less than 1. The number allowed in this position of standard form must be between 1 and 10 only, and 0.5 is less than 1. Hence, I will move this decimal to the right, and here I'm going to have 5. And this movement will decrease these 2 to become 10 to the power of 1. Whenever you move a decimal to the right, it's going to decrease this value. Always remember this rule. And this is our answer. We can equally write this as just 50. Having understood multiplication and division of standard form, let's consider addition of standard form. Let's consider the addition of each of the standard form. To add standard form, the powers of the 10 must be the same. Because these are the same, I'm going to go ahead to solve this problem. Step number 1, I'm going to add the numbers. In the next step, which is step number 2, 10 to the power of 3 are the same. Hence, I will multiply this with 10 to the power of 3. Next, 4 plus 3, and you're going to have 7. And this is your answer. Let's consider this question. The first step is to check if the 10s are the same. Since they are the same, I will go ahead with the addition. The first step is I'm going to add the numbers. Next, in step number 2, I will multiply this with 10 to the power of 6, since both are the same. Next, I will add 5 and 12. Next, 17 is greater than 10. I will move the decimal one step to the front to have 1.7. And because of this 6 will increase to become 10 to the power of 7. And this becomes our answer. Next, let's consider this question. The powers of the 10 are not the same. For me to go on with the addition of this standard form, I'm going to make both equal, that is, making the powers the same. This will remain this, while this will become this. 10 to the power of 1 multiply 10 to the power of 5 will give you 10 to the power of 6. Both are the same. Next, 3 times 10 will give you 30. 10 to the power of 5, and this is 10 to the power of 5. Now we can add both standard form. Next, 2 we add 30. Next, in step number 2, since these are the same, I will multiply this with 10 to the power of 5. 2 plus 30 is 32. Next, 32 is greater than 10. Next, you move decimal from the back of 2 so that you have 3.2. And this movement will increase this 5 to 10 to the power of 6. And this becomes our answer. In this exercise, complete the table. Next, let's consider the subtraction of standard form. Let's solve each of these tasks. To solve this first problem, consider if the power of the 10s are the same. Since they are the same, let's subtract. 6 will subtract 1.5. Next, since the powers are the same, I will multiply this by 10 to the power of 8. 6 minus 1.5. 4.5 is between 1 and 10. This is our answer. Next, let's consider this question. The 10s are the same, which is 10 to the power of 4. Hence, we are going to subtract. 7.5 minus 3.8. Next, since the power of the 10 are the same, I'm going to multiply this with 10 to the power of 4. Next, 7.5 minus 3.8. 3.7 is between 1 and 10. And this is our answer. Next, consider this question. Here, you can see that the powers are not the same. The first step is to make them equal. Next, if you input this directly into your calculator, this is converted internally in your calculator without you even knowing it. Next, 13 will subtract 18,000 and you will have minus 17,987. Next, 10 to the power of 12 are the same. Hence, I will just take only one, which is 10 to the power of 12. Next, this value is less than 1. Next, I will move the decimal from the back to 1, 2, 3, 4. And because my movement is towards the left, I will add 4 to this 12 to become 10 to the power of 16. And this is our answer. If this video was helpful, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share with your friends. To locate other helpful videos, follow the link on the screen. I will see you in the next video lesson.